3, 2.
All right. Good morning, folks. Chip Bubela here on air this morning with my partner, Coy Romine, and our producer, Ryan Allen. We're going to be talking about end of year stuff. We're going to reflect on 2025. We're going to talk about some outlook stuff for 2026, put in some motivation, and we'll close up. Guys, thank you for being here today to talk about, the good, the bad, the ugly of 2025 and where we see things going next year. So, anything y'all guys want to say before we get started?
No, happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Everybody had a great Thanksgiving, plenty to eat. Now we're on to getting ready for Christmas and all the Christmas parties and stuff. So,
Yes, sir.
All right. So, reflecting on 2025, I want to take some time to talk about the year, how business was, and how the market fared. Cool. What do you think are some of the biggest wins we had for our company this year?
First thing that came to my mind was, we'll switch over to insurance real quick. Was, we purchased Columbus office in 2023, and we had to create a succession plan.
Mm-hmm.
And with the current folks in that office retiring and moving on. So a couple of big things we did this year for the Columbus insurance office was two future hires, a couple of young ladies that can run that office for the next 20 years. I think that was a key move there for the insurance agency.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the energy that they bring has been phenomenal. Just watching them, what they're doing, and just the things that they're involved in and all the activities they're doing, staying engaged and being out and about in the community. I think it's very powerful, and it's going to help push our brand and help us keep growing our company, which is phenomenal. So great job to all those ladies in the office over there. And great job by you, Coy. I think you helped find these people that are there. So you're a reflection of who you hire. So you've hired some smart people. So it makes you pretty smart too, I think.
I appreciate it. It depends on who you ask, but I appreciate it.
I'll talk about real estate a little bit. I think what we learned this year, and we've learned for the past 2 or 3 years, we had to tighten our belts. 2021, when the market was, I have a stat here, but in 2021, we had an artificial market. We had 566,000 listings in the United States with 350 million people. That creates an artificial market. You didn't have anybody selling, you had everybody wanting to buy. And so that created and that's what raised prices so high. And then we've been coming off of that the artificial market since then. And so we're getting back to, our prediction is the market that we're going to see going forward is more of a 2019 market. And so we'll talk about a little bit what that looks like and all that good stuff. But I think the biggest thing we've learned over this past 2 or 3 years, and even this year too, we've tightened the belt. We've learned how to do more with less. We've gotten our finances in order, and sort of speaking, I know my slogan for 2025 was fast money. We've had a lot of slow money. We've had some investments that we invested in over the years. And so we've had to take some of that slow money and put it into fast money. Had to sell some things I necessarily didn't want to sell, but it was a necessity to get us where we needed to be financially. And so making those decisions and getting us in the right places has been very powerful for us. So we're still standing, guys.
That slow money was there. I mean, you can use it for two things. It's slow money, or, use it in case of emergencies. And, some things to make some moves that we wanted to do going forward for 2026, 2027, we needed to turn in some fast money.
What's terrible about fast money is you pay taxes on fast money. So it's nice to have the slow money, you get the depreciation, you get the tax write-offs. And then as soon as you turn that slow money into fast money, you got to pay the IRS.
Great
point. So anyways, let's talk about, and even the gyms too. I noticed that the gyms, the gyms are, we're still kind of a startup company as far as Anytime Fitness franchises go, but we've done a really good job. I looked at the P&Ls, and we've come a long ways in the past year, really tightened things up. And then coaching and training our Mitch has done a great job of diving in and helping us get basically just selling better. And we got we call it the front door, and then you got a back door, right? They come in the front door, it's your sales part, but then you got a back door where people come and leave too. So those are both the sales process, getting people to stay in the gym, not want to quit. And then, so you got the front door and the back door, and you got to get them in the front door, and you got to close them up when they're trying to leave the back door too. So it's two different things you got to work there. So to keep your, we call your attrition going. So very good. Now I want to talk about what trends we did see for buyers and sellers this year. Well, we're seeing inventory rise. We're seeing, just the average age of a home buyer is 41 years old. And I want to talk about a really crazy stat. I mean, Coy, Ryan, when you look at realtors out there, they're all trying to be social media influencers. So it's like you're seeing all these influencers, right? Trying to like really shake and make their name. But the median age of a home buyer and seller this year, 64 years old. Do you think the 64-year-old people are watching influencers online and picking their realtor that way?
Probably
I think
not.
people are spending their effort and time and their money in the wrong places. I think a lot of realtors need to look at what they're doing in their business in order to get business. I think they're doing the wrong things. I think a lot of people need to get back to the basics of picking up the phone and calling people and working relationships. And that's where you're going to build your business. I think trying to be a social media influencer when the average age is 64 years old, you're just wasting your time, And so it's very powerful. Something I was looking at these stats today that I was watching this Brian Buffini predictions and stuff. And so when you start looking at the average age of 64 years old and you're seeing all these people trying to be social media influencers in real estate, I think that people are probably wasting their time doing that kind of stuff.
No, I agree. If you look at our social media and our kind of like marketing tactics, we have some fun videos, but most of it is highlighting the property and highlighting the people that we work with and the people who work here.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I don't think it's flashy. It's fun. And the people who are making that content make a lot of money making the content.
Yeah.
I don't know if the realtors make a lot of money selling the properties that is like featured in those content.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people down in Houston and Austin who do these crazy, awesome videos. But, I don't know how successful that is, especially if it's reaching the right market or not. As you mentioned, like older people are the ones buying homes. How many of them are sitting on Reels all day and TikTok and getting exposed to, and your chances, like even if they are that old and they're on TikTok and whatever, what are the chances they're interested in real estate?
Yeah.
So how many times are you going to hit their feed? So no, that's a great point.
Another thing that we have to work on as realtors is that when the average age of a first-time home buyer is 40 years old, and the average person that's 40 years old already has 2 children, and so helping those folks get into a home, I think that's our problem that we can help solve. Helping these people get into home ownership, I think, is going to be the next thing that we need to help solve in the next coming years. And so I think if you're an agent listening to this, grabbing a hold of those people, trying to figure out a way to help them put a plan together to get into home ownership is a challenge. And I think it'll be the best reward for many of us. So when I started, it was 28 years old, and now it's 40 years old, and that wasn't that long ago. And so we've seen that change. So anyways, let's go on. We only have 30 minutes, so we got to keep moving things along. Let's talk about the outlook for 2026. I just listened to Brian Buffini. He's made some predictions. Every year he makes predictions. He's been doing this business for 40-something years. And every year he comes and does his predictions. So I listened to that today. He's only been wrong 2 or 3 times, he said. Here's another thing. I was just talking about these young folks. And so he says that what you see, what are young men doing to help their families get into home ownership? And they're basically doing nothing. They're investing in crypto and they're gambling, trying to hit a home run to get to the next step. And it's not a plan. It's like a lottery ticket, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're taking the wrong strategy. But how can we as agents help these young men help their families get into home ownership and all this? But it's staggering. So
let me interrupt. Is there that generation, young men generation, but is there already been a shift in the mindset? Because maybe do they think it's an impossible task, or have they even thought about home ownership?
I don't know. But I just want to tell you this stat. In 2018, the online gambling was a $5 billion industry. In 2024, it was a $150 billion industry. And the average age of the person doing this industry and gambling in this thing is 18 to 30 years old. That is a demographic of the people in this online gambling industry. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
$5 billion, $150 billion industry in that many years, and the average age is 18 to 30 years old.
No, I felt this coming.
You did?
Yeah, years ago, whenever DraftKings started sponsoring actual sporting events, you're like, okay, it's kind of the betting is sponsoring the program that they're betting on. It's getting too big. I don't know, but people love it. But I agree. I think it's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
and you're right. That's never even thought about that. Like prioritizing this money spending rather than like planning on the future.
Yeah.
But another point that Coy said about have young people even thought about it? That's another great point. A lot of us probably feel, I'm 32.
Yeah.
So a lot of us probably do feel like it's out of reach, at least momentarily.
Mm-hmm.
So those big hits, those big windfalls are really appealing to us.
Yeah.
So that's a great point. I think it's a very interesting time to be a young person.
Yeah.
And trying to plan on the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it crazy? I get chills just talking about it,
Yeah. Yeah. Now they have all these betting scandals happening in the NBA and fighting. It's crazy.
Major League Baseball.
And baseball.
3 or 4 people got suspended. Some pitchers were betting on balls and strikes.
Yeah. Because you're just trying to influence the line. Mm-hmm. So it could just be one play that you're just trying to help out. It's crazy.
All right. Good stuff. Great conversation there. Something to think about for sure.
Yeah, definitely talk to your young people about that. I give my nephew a hard time about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works, but I give him a hard time about
it. So 2026, if you're a realtor, you need to focus on the 62, 60-year-olds. That's where the market's at right now. 22% of them have children under the age of 18. And they're repeat buyers. So if you're trying to grow your business, that's the age group right now that are buying and selling. Unfortunately, the first-time home buyers are struggling like we're talking about right now. But here's another thing too. As an agent, when you're taking these listings, 1 out of 7 listings do not sell. That's a stat out there. They get withdrawn because these sellers are waiting for another artificial market, and they're not going to be here. You have to price properly. I told Steve in my office a while ago, we got a seller that wants to overprice. And I said, go in there and go into that appointment and say, listen, 1 out of 7 listings get withdrawn that don't sell. I do not want you to be in that stat. That's why we have to price it properly. I don't want you to be in that stat. I don't want you to be that 1 out of 7 that's not going to sell. And we got to withdraw because I couldn't accomplish it for you because it's not priced properly.
Yeah. Approach them with that fact. That'll sway them.
Yep. Absolutely. And then another thing is 1 out of 7 transactions canceled. So I know this morning we had a contract cancel. Not every deal is closing. Buyers are probably a little bit more fidgety right now with the market. And they can be because, there's more inventory and they have more leeway to negotiate now. And so as an agent, as a professional, you've got to be able to learn how to keep these deals together and not be afraid to, I think the negotiation part's fun, though. I think it's fun to try to keep things together. And so you never know, too. I know there's a lot of overpriced stuff out there. And I've tried to get sellers to reduce prices sometimes. And I'm like, if you would price it here, it will move. What they say is, well, bring me an offer for that and we'll talk about it, And so, but you're missing the boat on attracting so many more buyers when you don't price it. I could bring you an offer for that, but you're also missing out on so many other people that would be interested if we did get it to that price, Mm-hmm. So,
do you limit your pool of your who you're marketing to and who's as far as who's looking to shop?
And if you're still in real estate today, NAR predicts 240,000 realtors to leave the industry. It's in their budget, so we're going to have 20% less agents in 2026. You have 20% less agents in 2026. Okay, but 14% more sales in 2026. So Brian Buffini said these conditions look like a lot more beer for us that stuck it out. So
I like the way you put that.
So you think about that: 20% less agents, 14% more sales. For those that stuck it out this past 2 or 3 years, I think we'll be able to celebrate and have some more wins next year. I think we should see a better market next year for many of us, and so that's 2026 looking into there. And rates, they're around 6.3, somewhere around there. I think we're going to see this up and down. I don't think we're going to see much movement there. What's his name? The economist for NAR, he predicts rates to come down to 5.8. Brian argued that he didn't quite believe that. He felt like they were going to stay where they're kind of at and just kind of bobble up and down. So may get to 5.8, but it might only stay there for a couple of days,
But sales will increase 14%?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
They're predicting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, prices kind of leveled out, and the average price is $425 right now over the United States of America, and that number has not changed since 2022. The average price, the median price, has stayed the same. It has not gone up or down. It's just been flat. So since we've had that big bump in 2021. So I think that the agents that are out there that know their numbers, are confident, will have a great year. And so something I wrote down the other day, and let me find it real quick. Y'all can talk if y'all want while I look this up. But, I'm thinking about relationships. And so having really rich relationships with great people is a way to grow your business. They said one rich relationship is more valuable than 100 casual relationships. So pick your relationships out there, the people that know people that are going to be buying and selling, and invest in those relationships. And have conversations, do things with those people, because you want to have a lot of advocates for you. You want to have a lot of champions on your side. And if you can get your relationships with a bunch of champions and advocates, that's how your business will grow. And nurture those relationships. And that's how you'll grow your business in 2026.
Totally agree.
Only 1%, less than 1% of online leads close. And the average agent spending $3,750 on online leads, and less than 1% close. We're investing in the wrong things. We're investing in TikTok and online leads, and those things don't work. So you have to look where you're spending your money. Make sure you're investing in the right places, which is, in my opinion, investing in relationships. That's where it's at ultimately. So,
and tying that into our latest Entre podcast episode, you mentioned looking at your calendar to see who's in there, and who you're spending your time on.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that might be the best use of your time and money.
Yeah,
it's to fill your calendar with your clients and focus on building those relationships rather than throwing things out into the ether.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a new book. It's called The Activator Advantage, and the guy that wrote the book, he talks about different types of organizations out there, whether it's a law firm or insurance agency or real estate brokerage. But the top firms are what they call activators. They're activators in their relationships. They are master of working on relationships with top clients, not only with their clients but their vendors. They're taking care of their vendors and they're taking care of their clients, but they're activators and they focus purely on those relationships. And those are the most profitable firms that are doing that. It's not the firms that are investing in billboards and all this. They're investing in relationships. And I think that's where it's at right now. And but yeah, The Activator Advantage. Read it if you're a business owner. I think it's a very powerful book for anybody to read. And there's also another book. It's called, and which I got this quote from about the one rich relationship, but it's called Rich Relationships. Basically, I think it's what it's called. This lady wrote it, and she puts a plan together on how you can best, have these relationships with people. And the more time you put off on creating those rich relationships with the right people, the more awkward it gets. So you can start today with just whoever you're talking to, create that relationship and make it a rich one. Don't just make it an average relationship, make it a rich one. And it's the 80-20 rule, really. I mean, it's, look at your top 20% people who you really enjoy being around with and invest in spending time with those people. So
good point.
I've talked enough. Y'all need to talk down.
You're on a roll, man. You're on a roll. I'll let you go.
Coy, what do you think the move is for insurance owners or insurance markets going forward into 2026? Is there also relationship building that seems necessary, or is there a better way to reach out to people?
I think in any successful business, there's always an opportunity to build relationships. I mean, that's got to be your top three things to take care of those people who take care of you, and that can be the folks in your office and the folks outside your office. So I think it's important to keep that balance too. But I did make some notes on as far as insurance markets. We'll finally see some relief in insurance next year. So that is good news for us and for all of our clients. The insurance companies, tried to correct themselves in 2023 and 2024. So they spent 2025 finally being profitable. And that what people are saying in the industry, that we will see they're gonna pass some of that on to the client. Okay. So hopefully we'll see that relief coming in insurance. And there'll be a lot more open markets. So where we only be able to quote with 2 companies, you're gonna have more options as those companies start accepting some more risk.
Yeah, and you're starting to see companies open up markets. You see it slowly in different sectors, but you're starting to see it open up again, which is it's a telling sign that it's getting better. So, and we've had a great weather season. The insurance lady was in here earlier, and we were talking about we didn't have one hurricane touch down in the United States this year that made landfall. Is that true?
You know what I saw?
That sounds right.
A meme. Since we changed it to the Gulf of America,
no
hurricanes.
But that's the Gulf. That's a great year for weather, and so I think, when you keep having years like that, it definitely helps the insurance industry for sure.
Yeah, there's no damage. Now, was it good for trout though? Does that affect insurance? Is it mostly these hurricanes that are affecting insurance policies?
What'd you say?
It's like drought.
Drought.
Was that be a big factor in? It's affecting insurance.
Go ahead.
Crop insurance. Just mostly in those large, rich farmlands, you'll see if I'm just locally, we didn't get a lot of rain. It was a very poor rain year for us locally and in Texas, but the large farming states. Yeah. I don't know the stats on that, but it will affect crops and crop insurance.
Gotcha. Just a whole other sector.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we still have some time here, but let's get one big bold prediction from each of you about 2026. Anything, educated, but what do you think is going to happen in the real estate market and insurance market? Just one big prediction.
I think we're going to have my prediction is only because we're going to get better at what we're doing. We are going to be diligent about doing the things that I'm talking about today and holding each other capable of doing those things. There's no reason why every agent in our office can't close one deal a month at least, and making those appointments. So I want every agent to at least set one appointment per week. We should be getting at least 2 sign agreements every other week. And we should be getting at least 1 closed sale per agent per month. And you should be able to do double that. I think there's no reason why you can't do 24 transactions a year, 2 a month. I keep saying a year, but 2 a month. And if we do the things, the lead goes to the lag. If you do the lead things, if you're prospecting 2 hours a day, if you're working up doing that, if you're consistently adding somebody to our follow-up boss every day, adding 1 person, 5 per person per week, and you continually do that over and over, and the lead will get to the lag. The lag indicator is that close sale, but doing those lead things every day will get you to good results. And working with Marie, my executive assistant, we're putting a plan together to be able to track those things, making sure we're doing those lead. Another thing too is, people in your office, in the work organization, they want to achieve. It's one of the top motivators in organizations. People want to achieve and they want to be recognized for that achievement. But if we're not measuring it, how do we know they're achieving? And if we're not measuring and they're achieving, we can't recognize them for it. So we've got to measure, we've got to recognize it when they're achieving. And so, there's like 10 things that motivate. Money is one of them, but it's like number 8 on the list out of 10. Money is not the real thing. People they want to achieve, they want to know that they're doing a good job, but we don't know if they're doing a good job if we don't measure it. So I tell people, don't be annoyed by we're measuring. We're measuring because we want you to know that you're successful. Yeah. And then we want to recognize you for that.
That's a good point.
And so that's something that I really want to implement next year in real estate. We already do it on the gym side. I know we already do a lot of achievement stuff on the insurance side, but one thing we need to do better job on the real estate side is measuring our numbers, measuring the lead, recognizing that you're doing those things in order to achieve, and then recognizing you when you do.
All right.
So an agent, a real estate agent they're their own business, right? And
yeah, I'll be honest with you. As a real estate broker, I have 2 clients. My realtor's my client, and so is our buyers and sellers are our clients. I've got 2 people to make happy.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So you don't realize, a lot of people don't realize how brokerage works, but as a real estate broker, your realtors are your clients. And as a broker, you've got to make sure that you're giving them the tools and resources to be successful. And it's a delicate balance because you want to hold them accountable to making sales, but they're independent contractors. And so I don't want to hold you accountable. I want to hold you capable because I know you can do it. It's no difference than the franchisee, and the Anytime Fitness. When you buy Anytime Fitness franchise, the franchisee is the customer to the franchisor. Same thing with real estate. The broker is the franchisor and the agent is basically the franchisee, and they're my customer. I got to make sure they're successful. I got to give them the tool. I can't force them, but they're my customer. I got to make sure they're happy. So, because if they're not happy and if they're not successful, they're not going to stay around. They're not going to be in the business. It's like at Anytime Fitness, you buy a franchise from a franchisor. It's their job to make you successful. Whether you do the things that they tell you to do is your deal, but you're still their customer. And my agents are my customers.
Good point. Good comparable.
So,
all right, we got about 3 minutes left. Do you have a big prediction for us, Coy?
As I got the list earlier this afternoon, then things rattled in my head. And when I got to that question, I tried to think of one thing that changed in 2025 for me and in my businesses is I went from using no AI to using AI 10 to 15 times a day.
Yeah.
So, and as I went back to AI and asked them to give me one bold prediction just for fun, because I like learning, like reading, just see what the mindset of the AI uses is that the rise of what I got from reading, the rise of AI's usage is going to increase. And the growth of it, the AI is our data that we've entered. So we're going to be 365 more days of people entering data. So the growth of that is going to it's compound interest. It's just going to get greater and greater, faster. And so it's going to be real interesting to see how it affects day-to-day small business like ours, or, it's probably going to affect real insurance a little more than real estate. But the rise of AI is going to be, I'm going to keep an eye on it in 2026.
Even more adoption of AI and holding each other capable in 2026. I love it. All right. I think we're almost out of time.
And just remember, relationships can take you places marketing can't.
Yeah.
So invest in those relationships. Yeah. Rich relationships.
As someone in marketing, I support this message. Mostly because I don't want to do TikTok trends.
Well, I just want to say thank y'all guys for being here today with me. And Ryan always is putting this together. And catch us on KVLG K-Book LaGrange on the first Thursday of each month. And so we'll probably see you next year or on the air. And just God bless everybody. Everybody have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays with your families and enjoy that time.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Holidays. And if you missed the first part of this, it'll be up on YouTube and our podcast channel tomorrow. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.